Are you okay over there?
I am now.
All right. Well, now that I'm done doing all this daydreaming and we're stuck here not being able to go anywhere because of these gas prices, Brett has decided to do a couple of long overdue anyway DIYs on the RV. I think there's 3 things you're going to be doing, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, tell us all about it.
First project. First thing, I gotta set up the RV so I can get on the roof.
The roof.
So the roof is not on fire, so don't get excited. But the roof I need to get on. So what I did is I pulled it halfway out because there's an overhang here.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, we have 80 degrees today, so I really don't want to be in the sun doing this if I don't have to. And doing it inside, the lighting's not real good, and plus I don't have the ladder access in there. Things in there are kind of tight.
It is a little darkish.
Yes. So this will give me a little more space up there to work. And what I want to do is, I'm going to be doing several things. First, I'm going to take off the vent. We're replacing the roof vent with a vent that can be ran in the rain. So I'll show you right here real quick.
That's going to be great.
So this is that vent that we got on Marketplace. And we saved about $100 getting it on Marketplace, plus almost 10% tax here in Tennessee. It's a little high.
And it was brand new in the box.
Yes, brand new in the box. So what happens really, this is the whole thing. I'll just go ahead and lift it up. There are several pieces to it. This part that's dropping down, this is the collar. This is the first thing we're going to be putting on, is the collar. So, and I'll explain more about that later. But what this does, this whole thing will go up and down. It'll go up, and the vent can open, and it can go forward and in reverse. But it does that so that it can rain, and you can still use the vent. And that's been a problem, because we don't like to run the AC if we don't have to, if it's nice
No,
out.
because it's so loud, number one.
It's loud, and I just like fresh air better than I like AC air.
And you know Florida weather, you never know, is it raining, not raining, but it's still hot enough you want a fan, so this can be awesome.
I have installed one like this before, I have. So they're not that difficult. The biggest thing is sealing up around the joint so you don't get roof leaks. But they're not that hard to install. It's been probably 20 years since I've done one, but I have done one. So this also came with the putty. I forget what they call this, but it's the putty that you put down. It's two-sided putty, basically, is what it is. I forget what they call it. Some kind of tape. Somebody will tell me in the thing. And then you have lap sealant that goes over the screw heads once you get it all done. So this is like your sealant. And what this does is it's self-leveling. So when you put it on, it'll naturally gravitate toward the lowest points and seal those holes for you. That's what this is supposed to do.
That's interesting.
So I got these items with the hood, so I didn't have to buy them separately.
Yeah, so it made it that much of a better value too.
And here's the other piece. This will be inside the coach, and it'll marry up with this. But this will probably have to be cut down. It just depends on how thick the opening is, and I won't know until I get it open. So some of these you have to cut down, and they're made tall so that you can cut them to fit your coach. But they're pretty easy. There's only 4 screws, and it goes right in the hole. So we're going to be doing that today. I don't know that I'll get finished today, but we're going to try. And another thing I want to do is I want to take the air conditioning hood off, because I'm going to clean the coils and inspect it, but I also want to get the model number that apparently is up there on the roof for a soft start. I've been talking about this soft start. Those are good for low power situations. If you wanted to run your AC on the generator or even on shore power, it's going to give it a softer start, so it eases into the start instead of going pew, it's on, and then it spikes, and then it levels off once the AC is running. It's kind of weird to explain, but a soft start will preserve the length and life of your RV air conditioner. That's the point of it. So if you follow me real quick, what I did, why I positioned the coach here too, is I have to be able to get the slide out so that I can access the hood vent from inside the coach.
And let me ask you, how often do you think those coils should be cleaned?
It depends on how much you use your air conditioner. It really does, but at least once a year.
Okay. inquiring minds.
Yeah, that's a good thing to ask. So the slide out is not quite all the way out, mainly because it'll hit the side. And yeah, I could pull forward another inch, but I got enough of the slide out that I can access the roof vent from inside without hitting the top of the slide. And
Yeah,
I'll show you that.
being in the shade makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and it's cooler out there than it is in here because the sun is hitting the side of this metal building and it gets hot in here.
Which is one of the reasons I really want to get this place organized before we're in full summer.
So I've already got my step ladder. I can get up there. And if you look right up here,
Uh-oh, don't look, don't look. Do you miss it? You miss doing that Amazon delivery?
that's the mattress. We don't have a mattress on this, in this, where she delivers here. So that's someone helping the regular.
They probably run it out of
Oh, it
Tullahoma.
is Sunday. So today's Sunday. So
Amazon.
they'll
That's what I
probably-
said.
Yeah, that's
You missed that
Amazon.
Amazon delivery, baby?
Yeah, it's Amazon. If you look up in here, this is the vent we'll be taking out. Hopefully these 4 screws will match the 4 screws on the collar
That'd be
in
super.
there. Yeah. You might even be able to use this collar, but I'll check into that. I don't think it makes any difference. But this is the slide out, and it's out far enough for me to reach these screws. This is all the far I need to get. So I don't need it to be all the way out.
All right.
And this is the very last step. So we got to do all the stuff on the top first.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm ready to get started.
Oh, and I'll come outside and I'll show you the third thing real quick.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I want to share this really cool thing I'm going to be using this next winter season and probably now on the coolish nights. It's this electric heated blanket and it comes in this nice little carry case so I can take it with me in the RV, carry it to my little camping chair spot by a fire pit maybe. Ooh, it's got this battery pack that it runs on, which is great. So it's so portable and rechargeable. And you can even charge it in your car. Ooh, this is gonna be so much fun. And it comes with this nice little bag that you can carry it in if you don't want to use this one, which are both pretty nice. Oh, let's see. It has 3 settings, a low, medium, and high, and it'll turn different colors for each one. That is cool. It's pretty big. So the outer side is waterproof and windproof, and the inside is nice and soft. Ooh. So you can even use this if you put this on the ground for a picnic blanket. Do I hear picnic in the future?
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized blanket.
Yeah.
Might even get 2 people in there.
Whoa, whoa. I'll be trying to come in on my blanket here. Okay, here's where you put the battery pack in.
That's a cute little pocket.
Yeah, so you can wash it, obviously. You just unplug this and pop it in.
Looks like it comes with a Type-C connector here, so that's good.
Just plug it in. And this is the company name. I will drop a link in case you guys want to check it out. I'm stoked because this past winter I was so cold. This thing is going to come in super handy.
Yeah, I like the little cigarette charger there too that you can plug it into also. So you have the 2 options here for recharging. I see it being a very useful tool.
I love it. It's like a Sherpa. It zips right here. You put it overhead. You can put it like this. There's little snaps that you could snap it down. Oh, it's so soft. This is going to be great. Look, you can even see that it's on.
I see that.
It does change colors with each temperature setting.
There you go.
Oh, this is going to be great.
It looks really warm.
And now I've unzipped and it means it's picnic time. So you can lay out that side because it's waterproof and I'm ready for my lunch. All right.
All right. She's going to show me something else that she wants
Another
done.
thing you gotta do while you're
It's
out
on the honey-do list.
is this one you can see pretty dramatically. You see how it's not in line anymore?
Yeah, these
And
are
it's
the...
shifted off to the side.
Yes, I'm going to straighten that up, and some of them need tightened. It takes an Allen wrench, there's 2 screws, and all it is a mounting bracket for the awning. And I don't know why they're not lined up. It makes no sense to me. It's probably just from the factory that way.
I really see only 2 of them, but this one is way off.
This one's way off, so I can loosen it and then slide it
And
to the
that
right
front one
and then
is
tighten
off
it.
a little bit.
That is probably the one that is moving. It'll move with your hand, so it needs
I
tightening.
think that one, there's one even further down.
Oh, there is. Okay, yeah.
and
I see
that
it.
one is off.
Maybe that's the one that's
Yeah.
you can move with your hand.
So we saw that on our last
Yeah,
adventure.
this one's moving. See,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be moving.
So we noticed that on the last adventure, and it was like, oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy workmanship on the installers, but we're gonna fix it.
It's crazy the different things you see that they totally didn't care about. I guess that's the way things are now. It's just like, we're here for our paycheck. Who cares what happens?
Yeah, during COVID, there's been a slack in the industry.
The slack that
yeah.
never went back.
Especially with the big 3, Winnebago, Thor, and Forest River. Those 3 have been coined as cutting costs using staples and glue instead of screws and plywood.
It's a shame that
Yeah.
more people don't have pride in the job they do anymore, and the owners have a whole lot of greed.
Yeah, and this is a Tiffin, and we're kind of getting off topic a little bit, but Tiffin was a higher quality brand, but they were bought out by Thor. So now Thor is one of those big 3. If you're trying to remember it, it's WTF. So Winnebago, Thor, Forest River, that's what it stands for in this video.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, there's a couple of different WTF acronyms.
Yes.
I had a workout one that said, "Where's the fun?"
Yeah, there you go. So we're going to get busy on this, and I think you're working on some stuff in the house, and then, yeah.
In, out, all over the place, trying to get stuff done before my trip coming
There
up.
you go. Yep.
So,
Well, thanks for coming out and helping me get this video started.
all right. Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, the first thing I'll be doing, getting up here was a little bit of a challenge, but you can see we're right on the edge of the sun there. Anyway, it looks like this is one unit, being that it's not like this 2-piece unit we're going to be putting on. But see all this goop around here? This is all that lap sealant, so all this has to come off. So I've got this tool I'm going to use. I think it's a sheetrock cutter, but it'll work on this. You just got to be careful. You got to be very careful not to tear the membrane if you have a membrane roof. This is a unibody 1-piece sheet, not sheetrock, but a like a fiberglass roof. It's all 1 piece. So I just want to be careful not to score it or damage it or anything like that. But it should be a little easier being that it's a nice smooth surface and it's not a membrane roof. So we'll get working on that. Getting this putty off is probably the hardest part of the whole job. Okay, so all I did was take the point of this and stick it up underneath, and just being real careful not to damage the roof top. And it looks like it might just pull off pretty easy, like you can just pull it like with your hands. So that looks pretty easy. You know, it's going to stick to the roof, and I'll have to work on that, getting it up under there and getting it, you know, like just using 2 hands and getting this all off. But once this all comes off, it's pretty easy. Looks like it's riveted on, which might involve drilling them out. Oh no, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But anyway, we got to get all this stuff off of here. Okay, we're moving right along here. It has taken me about 20 minutes to get all this off of here. And it looked like the best tool for the job was just a flat putty knife. because you really have to get under it and push pretty hard. So this box cutter sheetrock looking thing didn't really help, but I keep it too because I can clean the screw heads up with the tip. So what you got to do now is once you get this off all the way around, I still have to get the back. I haven't done the back yet because, you know, it's harder to reach. But I can get this side, and then what I'll have to do is this is a 1/4 inch socket, basically. I put it on the end of a drill, and then it fits all these little screws. All these screws have to come out. I've already loosened that one right there. So once you get all that out, it should just lift right off. Alright, I've got all the screws out and I've got most of the putty off. Now I'm going to clean this up some more before I put new putty down. But I've got it pulled up. And I think I've got all the screws out on the other side. You got some wiring over here too. Now this is just 12 volt wiring. But be careful with that. I have to disconnect it. First I got to find out where it's connected. I think it goes all the way around where there's one connection, and what you should do is you should pull the fuse to this because it is 12 volt hot all the time. But right now I just want to get it lifted off. There we go. So there, it's off. So I got to clean this up, and this is a standard hole. This is a standard 14 inch by 14 inch hole. Pretty standard for RV. So you can see here the fiberglass from the roof. So the roof is a fiberglass roof. I might just go under there and take the sheathing down. That has to come out. And then I need to find out where these two are connected and then disconnect them. I'm not even sure if that orange wire is even part of it. So once I figure out where these wires are ran to, I'll probably just cut them right here. Oh, there it is. So it's marked here. Black in RVs, black 12 volt is usually hot. So that's what this is, your hot wire. This is your ground wire. And the new fan is going to hook up the exact same way. Black to yellow, which yellow is your hot lead, and then white to white is your ground or neutral. So I think I can just pull these apart, just pull it out. So that's what I'll do. I'll pull this out, take this down, I'll go inside the coach and remove this shroud, and then I need to just clean this up, and then we'll get ready for the install. Okay, what are you doing down there?
Causing trouble.
So we're left with this little shroud here, and I asked Therese.
Her. I am her.
Well,
I'm her to help.
Her.
I'm her to help you.
You know it's all about the pronouns. So
Whatever.
I asked Therese to unscrew these for me because I'm up here and she's down there, and I have to crawl across the roof to get to the ladder on the other side. It's just easier for her. So I'm going to see if I can't kind of show you what she's doing. Can you see that? I don't know. But there's 4 screws, 1 in each corner. Yep, that's them. And I'm going to hold on to all these little screws because this is a reusable vent. Like if someone has one that's broken, I might be able to resell it. Might be able to get $10 for it or something.
Slide out a hair more.
Oh, I can give you an extension to go on there. You'll have to pop the thing out the end. So she's saying that the screwdriver is hitting the slide out, so I'm giving her an extension. I also have another tool that if that's not long enough, I can get you the extension, the more extension. So I cleaned all this up. It ain't perfect. I'm still going to clean up some more. I've just been kind of sliding all the little rubber fragments over here and putting them in a bag. Got my little handy dandy Walmart bag. That's what they come in good for. And I'll clean this up some more. I've disconnected the wires. I just pulled them off. And it looks like I might be cutting these wires because the new one has push-on style wires. So I'll be crimping these on and using these. And these screws, I don't know if they're the same or not. They look about the same, except they're Phillips head screws. So I'll be using these screws. And the holes don't line up with the holes in the frame, but that's okay. I'm going to have to putty. That didn't work.
I want you to do it. Put it on.
Oh. Okay, we're moving right along here. So I have drilled all my pilot holes, and of course they're covered up with this butyl tape. So I've already put the butyl tape down. Now all what you need to do here, and you want to make sure at the joints, some people try to go around the curve and keep it together, but you end up doing a whole lot of puttying, finger puttying, I'm going to call it. I think I just tore them evenly and pushed them up against, and whatever gaps you may need to fill, you're going to have the lap sealant that you can still fill it with. I think before I put this down too, I'm going to put a little lap sealant just around this inside rim. But I have the butyl tape lined up over where the holes were because that's where it really matters. But I'm going to go ahead and probably fill this here because I have a whole tube of it and I'm not going to use the whole tube. In fact, I have a whole ring of the tape left too. Like, look how much is left. I barely used any. So I'm going to go ahead. These just peel up. They just peel right off. You just pull the paper off. And I'll do that, and then I'll lay this down. I've already done just a real quick fitment to make sure, it sits in the hole right and everything lines up and it sits nice. And it does sit pretty nice. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now over here, there seems to be a gap on this side. I think the roof kind of does a small pitch up. And as it does that, it leaves a little gap there. But the screws will pull it down because I've already tried it to make sure it would pull it down without cracking this, because you don't want to crack this housing. And in cold weather, you don't want to be pulling on this because then when you go into cold weather, it may crack anyway. So you don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to fill this gap here. I might do 2 layers of butyl tape here, and then I'll fill the rest with the lap sealant to make up the gap difference. It's probably about that much, and it's only on this one side between this screw and this screw head, so it's kind of weird where it dips down right there, but that is what it is. But we'll adapt. The rest of this fits really good, so I'm expecting this to be a pretty easy rest of the way. We'll see what we got. Okay, so I've got it all seated down. I've got all the screws, and I decided to use the old screws because we're going into sheet metal, or we're going into aluminum, I'm sorry. So these are self-tapping screws. So they're going to adhere to the metal framing better. And so I still have the regular sheet metal screws that can go with the old roof vent if I decide to try to list that for sale. Because most people are not going to have a metal frame. Some will, and I think these will work better as self-tappers to go into the metal frame. They'll pull in and hold better, and the other ones are more meant for wood, and wood frames is what most people will have. So the other screws will work better for them, and these screws will work better for me. So you can see some of the butyl tape kind of bleeds out, but that's okay. That helps to seal it. And I put all the screws in, and you want to make sure you don't crank them down too hard. This section right here that was had kind of a gap, I put a second layer of butyl tape on top. So there's like 2 layers right here. And it does pull down a little bit, but it's slight. So I think it's going to be okay. You just got to be real careful that you don't over tighten onto this screw collar, or you'll crack this collar. It's just plastic. So the next thing I will do is take the lap sealant, which I've already got in the gun here, and I will go around and put a little bit on top of each screw and go around the outside seam all the way around. And you want to be pretty let's say, liberal with it. Like, you want to put more than what you think is needed. You can't really put too much. You want to make sure you have enough though. So you want to put it on pretty generously. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. And I'll go ahead and do that because it takes two hands. I can't hold the camera. So all I'm doing is it's like a caulk. You're just using the caulk gun and putting it on each of the screw heads. And then you're going to go around the outside seam down here and seal it up. Okay, so I've put the sealant on here. This is the lap sealant. You put a lavish amount on each screw head, and what it does, it will self-level. In other words, it will creep down and kind of float out and kind of go like what my hand is doing. So it might start as like a glump, and then it will, by itself, it will just start to level out and fill in the gaps. And so that's why you want to put a bunch of extra on there, because it's going to spread out on its own and self-level. That's what it's called. You just want to make sure your screw cap is completely covered. And after a couple of hours, maybe even tomorrow, I'll get back up here again and double check them and make sure it didn't leave any gaps anywhere where the screw head could get rain to the screw head. Because if rain can get to the screw head, then potentially the rain or water could get down around the screw head. I mean, it would have a long way to travel. It still has to get past the tape and all that. But, you know, if we can stop it at its first crossing point, that's where you want to stop the rain. So the next thing we do is I got to get the shroud. The actual fan is over there. I got to get it over here and set it in here. And then there's 4 screws. There's 2 on each side that go into this metal clip on this side and this side. And with this air conditioner in the way, I may have to get a regular short handled screwdriver for this side because it's real close to this air conditioner cover, which I want to take that cover off too because I need to get some numbers off the air conditioner unit. So that's the next step. Okay, we've cleaned this edge up here, and the next step here is putting the, I don't know what you want to call this, manifold, the bracing, the plastic thingy. So what happens here, don't worry about your wires right now. This will sit right here. Now as I'm looking at this, the old holes don't line up with where the new holes are going to go, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is we will putty all these holes. But before we do that, we want to go ahead and pre-drill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 of these holes line up pretty nice. So this one here in the center lines up, and this one lines up. So I'm going to put a screw here just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to pre-drill all these other holes out. I've got my drill up here and a small bit, and you want to make sure you don't drill these too big, because if you do, you'll have a problem. So I go smaller, and if I need to go up a little bigger, I'll go up a little bigger. The old screws that came out of here were self-tapping screws. And I'll go back and use these if I have to. I could. But the new screws are Phillips head screws. So it doesn't really make any difference. The thing that does make a difference is the length. And I think they're about the same. They are about the same length. So there shouldn't be any problems there. Something else I want to show you here is, like I said, this is fiberglass top, which made it real easy to clean. You don't have to be quite as careful with it because it's not a membrane that can be torn. But there's also metal framing in here. A lot of your RVs will have wood framing. This has aluminum framing, which means these screws have to go into aluminum, not wood. So you got to make sure that they get a bite. So I might use the self-tapping screws. I just haven't decided. It doesn't really matter which ones I use. I might have to use the self-tappers because I'll be drilling new holes. And I need them to get a bite in the middle because they're self-tappers. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll put a screw here, a screw here. And when you're putting this frame in here, you want to make sure that these metal, I don't know what you want to call them here, these little metal clips on the side, they need to be on the sides. In other words, you don't want to put it in like this. You want to put it in like this. Reason being, your hood is going to attach to these. And your hood is either going to open to the front, I think I'm going to open it to the back, So if you leave it up, it doesn't catch wind and lift it and damage it on the highway. So these have to be on the side, the left and right side of the coach. This is the front of the coach. So this is the way it's going to go in. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten these down here. And these are just screws to hold this in place to give me a template. And then I'll drill all these other holes and that'll create the template for the new one. And then I'll take the old holes and I will putty them up with the lap sealant. Oh, and the name of this other stuff, it came to me. I didn't remember it at the time. I was talking about it downstairs, but it's called butyl tape. I know somebody's going to say that in the chat, but this is butyl tape, and this is what it's designed for. It's used in on RVs mostly, but you can use it on doors and windows and anything that needs to be sealed, waterproof tight. It's a two-sided putty is what it is. So that's butyl tape. Anyway, that's what will be going down here before I attach it permanently. So right now I'm just going to attach it non-permanently just to pilot drill the holes. So that's the next step. All right, we finished it up on top. We got it installed and the 4 screws, the 2 on each side to hold it in. And now we're inside. And what we're doing now is the wiring. So it came with some ends that were different than the ones that came on the coach. So these are the 2 wires that are on the coach. These are a pretty thick wire. I don't know, maybe a 16 gauge or 14 gauge. But anyway, so the wires on the fan are much thinner. So that's good. That's the way you want it. You don't want it the other way around. So these wires shouldn't overheat, in other words. These are also copper. So I was pretty impressed that these were copper wires. So I put the ends on that came with the fan because it came with different kinds of ends. These are just push pins. So now you just got to push them together. So they crimp on and then you crimp them and you tighten them so that they're snug tight on the wire. And then now all you have to do is push them together. White to white, if you recall. Come on. White to white. And here's the hot wire, and this one's labeled positive, so there's your hot lead. In RVs, usually the black wires are hot. So go ahead and push them together, like so. You'll hear it beep. Did you hear it beep? That means that it's receiving power. So we're going to test it right now before we tuck the wires up into the hole. But you can turn it on. You hear it beep. And we have power. So right now it's blowing out, and you can reverse it. You hear it beep, it's going to slow down, almost to a stop, and then go the other way. And now it blows cool air in. So that's what our other fan did not do. It didn't blow in. This also has, I want to say, 10 different levels of speeds. Still going faster. I guess that's it. That's as fast as it'll go. But you can hear it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I guess it has 10 levels. Give me a little bit of a time here. I'm going to turn these. This side of the shroud actually has more space, but that's not the way it was put in, so. So then you take the shroud here and you tuck the wires to the outside of the shroud. This black wire wants to give me a fit over here. Okay. Yeah, the orange wire now, that's a fat little wire, so we will try to get around that. Let's see. Okay, I think we got it. And there you go. Oh, it looks like I am going to have to cut some off because the shroud's too deep, which is what I told you in the very beginning, remember? I'll show you here. See how it sits off the ceiling? That's all the way in. So I'll have to take this back down and then cut off about it. I'll cut off about a half an inch on the top, maybe an inch on the top, and then have to refit it. But that's how it works. So I'm pretty happy with it. The install was pretty easy. All right, we have it all installed, and Teresa's here to do the test.
The test?
The test.
Am I testing your workmanship?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
It has taken me nearly way longer than I thought. Nothing went bad. I was just taking my time and having to retrim some things and retrim some things and then retrim some things.
And my tacos await.
Yes. So, there it is. Now, this is not the remote control version, which I didn't really want the remote control. That's just something else to go wrong. It's also batteries. And if you're too lazy to stand up to turn the fan on, then you probably have other problems. So give it a try. Here's the controls right there real quick. That's all the controls. And you can thermostatically set it to come on automatically. And remember, it's the last setting that you had it on.
I got the power.
Now that's blowing down, as you can see her hair moving.
Nice. I'll just stay here.
It gives you a down, it gives you an up. There's 10 different levels of speeds. And the hood can stay open when it rains. That's the best thing.
You can switch it.
You can switch direction. It takes it just a second to slow down, and then it starts going in the other direction automatically.
Oh, and there's an auto?
There is an auto setting to have it come on automatically if you're not here. Like you can set it for auto, and it gets hot, it'll come on and exhaust the heat.
It's pretty quiet.
Yeah, it is. Real quiet. It's a lot better than the other one. Because the other one, the fan was hitting this metal screen, and it was going and it was not working out.
Ridiculous. Now I can see what's going to end up happening is you're going to want to change the one in the back.
Now, I didn't plan on doing both of them. I think one is sufficient.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the back one, sometimes the fan hits the wire mesh and makes a noise. And you have to play with the wire mesh to get it to stop doing it.
We'll see. But I have a few other important things that might trump that for a while.
Okay.
If I could, I'd love to tint the whole windshield of this and the Miata.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to call that good. I want to get a picture of the outside, too, before we slide in the slide. Because you slide the slide in, then it blocks the vent. So I wanted her to see it before we block it and turn it off. And, yeah, there you go.
Well, I guess we'll have to keep you around for a little longer.
Yeah, I haven't messed up a job yet. There's always the first time. And this is what it looks like on the outside. So don't fret, that's an air conditioner. I have it open because I was taking a picture of the data plate, and I'm going to leave it open so I can clean it. And I haven't done that yet, so I just set the cover back there. So everything up here pretty much has black covers. Well, I mean, the other vent has a white cover, but the air conditioner has a black cover. The antennas are black. Solar panels have black, and so I thought the black better matched. But you can get it in white. You can also get it in translucent. But this is the cover down, and then when you crank it up inside, this end will come up to about here and allow for the fan to ventilate out like that. And that's it. I need to get up here and clean my mess here. But this stuff will just rub off. So I have to clean this, and I'll double check these tomorrow. Let it settle, and then I'll double check these and make sure we have a good seal on all these little screws. If there's any openings or cracks, or I can hit it again with the lap sealant and touch it up. And I can do that tomorrow. But anyway, right now it's dinner time. So we'll check you next time on the next adventure.